Hey, what's up? Uh, hasn't been very long since the last one, I know, but yeah, well, if you watch the last one, then you know that I've got quite a bit more to say on that whole sort of thing. Thought I'd give it another go. I'm still in a decent mood and try and keep these things out of the, down end of the spectrum as much as possible, because, you know, who wants to be depressing all the time? So I thought I'd go for a walk by the waterfront. It reminds me a little bit of home. I live in a coastal city, port city, and when my back allows me, I like to go down and sit by the water and do some thinking and stuff, because it's a great place to do it. But I wanted to get back to this whole lucid dreaming thing again, and kind of raise a concern I guess I had. Maybe it seems like a sort of frivolous and vacuous kind of thing to worry about, but I got a lot of time to think, so I think of this stuff. And I was thinking maybe in a way, I guess I'll start with how I usually figure out that I'm dreaming, if I'm having a dream. And some of it sounds stupid, some of it's kind of makes sense, some of it I don't bother to understand. It works, so I do it. And well, I guess one of the easiest ways is if I'm doing something or I'm in a dream or whatever, and I think, hey, I wonder if this is really happening. Like, am I dreaming right now? For me, because I happen to enjoy flying in my dreams, and something I really wish I could do in real life, because, well, let's face it, it would beat the shit out of taking the bus, that's for sure. But I'll try that. And usually if, I succeed and I start flying, then I'm like, okay, well, I must be dreaming. Even then, sometimes that's not enough to convince me. So, I go, okay, well, I'm flying, but is it really happening? So I'll try and find someone, another person, or especially somebody I know. And, I'll try flying in front of them and see what happens. Apparently somebody's having a party. Anyway. And what I found is if I'm dreaming, usually they won't react very much at all. They'll just be like, yeah, whatever, you're fine, okay, get over yourself. Or, they don't even notice. And, I mean, let's be honest, if it was real life and somebody started flying, well, people would freak the fuck out. So that's my first indication. And if, sometimes they do react surprised and shit, I'm like, oh, okay, then maybe I'm not dreaming. And I'll walk right up to a person and I'll ask them, hey, are you a dream? Like, are you a real person or are you a dream? And it's kind of funny to see the reactions that at least I've gotten from the people in my dreams when I ask them if they're a dream. And I don't know, it's weird. Like, they act almost like I asked them if they have sex with their sister or something. It's like I caught them out and they're right embarrassed about it or something, and they don't know what to do. I've never had any dream people get mad at me for that kind of shit. So I guess, what was it called? Inception there, that dreaming with Ellen Page in it about getting into people's heads and stuff. They were saying how, your subconscious gets pissed off when you start to do crazy shit like that because it doesn't want you to find out or something. I don't know. I don't really buy that because nobody in my dreams gets pissed off when I figure out their dreams. They usually just get freaked out and run away. Strangest look on their face, and I get a kick out of it. It takes a sting off of finding out that I'm dreaming and not actually flying. Other stuff I do, is I'll find a light switch and flick a light switch, because usually you can't adjust light levels in your dreams. It's a weird thing. I don't know why, but most of the time you can't. I'll try and find a book, read a book. And that's really hard to do because if it's, if you're dreaming, your brain's going to come up with some shit to put in the book, and I don't know, I guess your brain's not really expecting to do that, so it generally doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So looking at clocks is kind of the same thing. It's never really the right time of day. If you have money in your pockets in your dream, count your money. You'll come up with a different number every fucking time. That's another way of telling. Obviously asking people around you if their dreams works pretty good too, but if you start doing that in real life, well, I guess if you don't care, it doesn't matter, but people might think you're crazy, just, hey, excuse me, are you a dream? God, in this day and age, some places you're likely to get the cops called on you and get your asses kicked just for being a weirdo, so maybe you shouldn't try that. But, I see that squirrel went by and I didn't even see it happen. Yeah, so telling that you're dreaming, in dreams. And I guess many of you are like, well, who cares if I'm dreaming or not? Like, it's a dream, right? Well, yeah, all right. But don't discount dreams just because, they don't happen while you're awake. Like, they can affect you. They can have a real sort of impact on your life, even though they're quote-unquote just happening in your head. And lucid dreams, much like games and stuff like that, and really anything where you accomplish something that you thought was impossible or you didn't think you were able to do, when you finally actually figure out that you're dreaming, it's quite the thing. It's a surreal experience to look around yourself and to feel that you're in a body. And most of the time in your dreams you can feel your body. I mean, it might not be your real body, but your mind is so used to perceiving the world through a body that it's just natural for it, right? So, but the first thing that you'll find will happen when you realize you're dreaming is you'll get super excited because it's a cool thing to figure out, and you'll probably wake right the hell up. So, that's normal. Like that'll happen. If you get excited in your dreams, you wake up, and it's kind of a safety feature so that when Freddy Krueger's eating your face or whatever, if you're having a nightmare, and you can just kind of wake up. It's a safety feature, I guess. Speaking of which, that reminds me of another thing I learned about bad dreams. If you're having a bad dream or something like that, and you just can't get out of it, or you just can't bring yourself to face whatever's attacking you or whatever, close your eyes. Keep them closed. You will either wake up or change dreams. I don't know why it works. It just does. I tried it one time in this dream. Hey, telephone pole. I tried it once in a dream. I was trying to take out some kind of enemy base, and I had C-3PO and R2-D2 help me out. Look, it was a dream, all right? So it was weird. I like R2-D2 and C-3PO, so, kiss my ass if you don't like it. Anyway, I was with them, and we just finished laying down explosives in this dam that the evil organization of some kind was using for... that this evil organization was using for whatever, I don't know, evil shit. Anyway, we bombed it and we're trying to get away. And so in order to get away, we had to jump off the dam into like the reservoir at the bottom. I was really freaking long way down. So, I jump off because it's where that's what we had to do. And I closed my eyes before I got to the bottom. Cause, if you've ever tried to dive or jump into water with your eyes open and you get your eyelashes all stuck to your eyeballs and it hurts like a bastard, and it's just not fun. So I closed my eyes. And I know I'm falling and falling and falling, and after a while I was like, okay, why am I not hitting the water? Like, so shouldn't I be hitting the water by now? So I opened my eyes, and at first it couldn't make sense what I was looking at. It was just kind of this blank, empty space with this sort of weird square-shaped thing in the middle of it. And I was like, wait a minute, what the hell am I looking at? And then, my brain caught up with me, and I realized that I was staring at my ceiling. Kind of like that. And, I was like, oh shit, I woke up. I guess I was dreaming, and I didn't realize I was dreaming at the time, but then that's when I made the connection that if I close my eyes in a dream, then I'll just wake the hell up, and it's just another way of getting out of a nasty situation. Personally, I recommend facing whatever it is that bothers you and sticking through it, because you'll get more out of it. But if you got to get out, well, that works. Anyway, Sandy Beach squirrels, sidewalk market, bikini universe. Yeah, I'm sure my guy would look great in one. So got attacked by another squirrel here. Right, yeah. So video games and stuff like that can help, but I wonder if maybe sometimes they can hinder too. Because for me, one of the things that kind of sets me off and gets me to wondering, am I dreaming, or is this real, or what's going on, is usually something weird will happen, something that just doesn't happen in the real world. And as my own personal experience of doing stuff in the real world and doing virtual things and having crazy adventures starts to kind of grow, I find myself becoming a little bit less likely to be aware that I'm dreaming on a regular basis. Because I've started doing stuff like, flying and having superpowers and all this shit, dreams. a lot, that it's become second nature. And I don't notice anymore, you know, that I'm dreaming sometimes because it's just commonplace for me to do these things. So okay, that guy was just a little too intense with his coffee and his swim trunks. But sometimes, shit, see, god damn it. I think the squirrel was getting worse. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, I thought I'd do the whole switch into the next video segment thing right now before it interrupts me and causes another squirrel. So I don't, the first obstacle, I guess, wait for these people on their phones. First obstacle, I guess, to any lucid dreaming is figuring out your dreaming. You know, being able to spot the fact that you're not in your typical kind of normal waking reality. And that's the first hurdle. After that, you know, doing stuff, it's just a matter of getting the hang of things, you know. Flying probably won't happen right away. For me, it started by jumping really high over stuff, and inevitably my subconscious sort of expectations of the world would overcome my desire to do strange and unusual things, and I'd come back to the ground. And I could really only ever manage long jumps. But you know, after a while, I started to figure out that it didn't matter what I was jumping over, if it was a car or a house.
You're telling me.
Random conversations in this game. But I started jumping over things, and they just kept me bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, I was leaping over tall buildings, like somebody else we know who's got superpowers. But, you know, at some point I was like, wait a minute, what happens if I get to the top of my arc and I just don't fall down, you know? And so that got me flying. Anyway, I guess when I'm getting the point I'm getting to is it takes a while to build up the ability to do really crazy things in lucid dreams, because you have to work past your subconscious blocks and your expectations and sort of the mental limitations that reality, and especially a shared reality where you exist with other people that kind of have the same ideas about reality. I think that kind of informs.
Don't even go there.
Well, sorry, lady, I'm already there. But anyway, so I think that kind of informs what you're able to do in a normal dream. You know, you don't think to get out of your box and do weird things. And as you do it in dreams and as it becomes more commonplace, I think it maybe might allow more interesting and fantastic things to happen in the real world if we all started doing that, because...
Hey, honey, what you doing?
Yeah, I'm having a talk.
Doing my daily walk.
Yeah, good. So, fuck. You know, I'm thinking maybe the beach is the wrong place for this, and it was nighttime when I got here. It was quiet. Now I got these assholes on phones, and... Well, Jesus, it's bright. The whole technology and people buried in their phones all the time, well, that's a whole other thing. I'll probably do a random squirrel on that someday, but... I'm trying to stay on point. Something that kind of has multiple points, so I'm extra squirrely. I sometimes wonder if spending too much time in these virtual spaces where all these crazy things are commonplace might limit people's ability to become aware in the dreamscape. But then again, I wonder if maybe it might not function the same way as a dreamscape. It's not the same, obviously, because, you know, in a dream, once you've learned to perceive your dreams fully, like people say, oh, you only dream in black and white. Well, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. You know, I don't know who got that idea or where that came from or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I dream in color. I can touch things in my dreams. I can smell things. I mean, I had a dream I was in a New York subway once, and I swear to God, I could smell the piss in the subway station. You know, I mean, I knew I wasn't really in a New York subway train because the tunnel ended and things started flying across the Hudson River instead of, you know, going under it. So that was my first indication that I might be dreaming. But I also stayed lucid for a really long time in that dream and kind of tested stuff. Like, what could I smell? What was I wearing? Did I have a body? You know, all this other stuff. And what could I hear? And people around me, there was people around me, a few of them here and there, and they were having conversations. It was very much like this, you know. And this was a long time ago. This was before Grand Theft Auto 5 existed. It was before Grand Theft Auto 4 existed, and you know, so it was maybe San Andreas for the PS2, which was nowhere near this sort of immersive. You know, it was cool and everything, but technology and all that. And There goes the squirrels again. Maybe I should just stare off at the sun and cut this one off. No, not yet. So yeah, I think about this kind of shit, and I wonder, what kind of effect on our greater subconscious and psyche, and from an enlightenment perspective, do these games and stuff have the ability to heal or harm? And I think they have both. I mean, you look back in the day, people were concerned about today's youth being corrupted by books, and the church would burn books because maybe they had boobies in them, or somebody got killed, or there was magic, and only Jesus does magic, or whatever. I mean, I don't mean to pick on Christians here. It's just, that's kind of I grew up in North America, so that was the majority of sort of religious viewpoints that I was sort of regularly exposed to. So I most easily reference it because it's the most common thing in my world. I don't go to church. I'm not religious. I don't have any problems with it. I think it's an older, maybe antiquated language used to describe things that there really isn't kind of an accepted sort of language to describe it with. And in that respect, I hope science kind of goes a lot further into being able to document and test out these crazy things, because it seems to be kind of the sensible sort of all-encompassing language that people are willing to listen to. And when quote-unquote science says, hey, we built a machine and it tested this, and we've discovered that, I don't know, out-of-body experiences are real or whatever. I don't know if they have. Maybe they have. They're making some pretty cool discoveries these days about crazy stuff like that. But so, I guess really trying to decide whether this stuff like this game and these virtual spaces are good or bad for the enlightenment and conscious development in general is sort of missing the point, because ultimately the conscious development of an individual rests solely with that individual. And if the people who gave that individual the basic tools for coping with life and reality and maybe finding things out for themselves, if those tools were given to that person, then as long as they approach every experience they have with with an expansive mind and with an ear for finding parallels between different states of reality and different mindsets and emotions, then the person can experience any virtual scenario, whether it be a lucid dream or Grand Theft Auto, or a horror game or a fantasy game or a kid game or a board game or a book or a really great movie. Or all these things can enrich the subconscious landscape and enrich a person's soul and add imagination and add more props and characters and special effects that they can throw into their own imagination. I mean, our dreams can enrich the world we live in when we bring our dreams into this world, and this world can enrich our dreams because in many ways, because of technology and the interconnectivity of the world we live in, we can experience subconscious aspects and archetypal stories and experiences from other cultures. And I mean, you watch some anime. I mean, granted, some of that stuff is just bubblegum crap, and I hate it, but I'm not knocking it just because it's animated. I'm just saying it's just as many stupid animated movies as there are stupid live-action movies. I mean, if I have to see one more stupid rom-com with the same damn plot line, I'm going to puke. Give me something with brains. I don't care if it's a love story. I don't mind love stories. Love is good, but why does it always have to be this sappy bullshit, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the new movie, is one of my favorite movies, and it's got a romance in it. It's kind of a love story, but it's more than that. It appeals to more levels than that, and there's something in there for everyone, and it touches on a lot of fundamental things, which makes it really fantastic. Spaceballs was a good movie that way. And now I don't know if this is true, but I heard somewhere that supposedly Spaceballs is one of the Dalai Lama's favorite movies because it deals with all that kind of universal humor, and it's a funny movie. I mean, let's be straight. It might not be for a lot of people nowadays. Maybe younger kids wouldn't get it, and they just think it's silly and weird and to make fun of Star Wars. But watch that movie and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie. That's my recommendation, or your homework if you want. Look at those movies, but from a deeper perspective, and look at the kind of the great moments in it, and one of my favorite ones is when they're on the Spaceballs ship, whatever it's called. And they're watching this kind of movie of the movie Spaceballs, because their new technology is they released the movie before they filmed it. So they're watching a movie of themselves in a movie, making this movie. And it's just one of those scenes where the existential humor is just dripping out of it, but they do it in such a way that it seems silly and empty, but it's not. Go towards the light. But yeah, I guess this is the appropriate location to say, don't narrow your view. Don't spend your entire existence going down this dark tunnel, heading towards one thing like money or having that house or, whatever. It's not about things. Have an environment that you can be happy in, that you can raise a family in, if that's your thing, that makes you feel safe and surrounded by loved ones. And it doesn't matter what you live in. It doesn't matter what you do for a job, Those are the things that are important, and we need to raise the society or kind of bring about a society where those things have true value rather than the career or the corporation or, we can find a balance between everybody kind of pulling their weight to make society work and everybody having the time and the money and the affordability of things to do what matters rather than spend their whole lives at work. Places like, I can't remember which country. It's one of the kind of the North European country, like Norway or Sweden or something like that. You'll have to check that. I can't remember the exact country, but they have a 33-hour work week. That's it, 33 hours, mandated by the government, unless you have some sort of special job, probably like, ambulance driver or something, or firefighter. You can't tell a fire, okay, it's quitting time. But anyway, and they have free education, free healthcare. Their minimum wage is like $20 an hour. They pay fairly high taxes, higher than Canada, I think, but that doesn't matter because people have the time to enjoy life and they have the money to pay their bills and still have enough left over to go see a movie or something, So their quality of life is just way up there, and there's no reason that countries like, any country in the world, considering the distribution of wealth in today's society, if we spread it out evenly, everybody could fuck off, Lester, Jesus. Everybody could live a comfortable, happy life, and there's nobody in the world that needs $100 billion a year as their income. Like, sorry, I'm happy for you and everything, but give some of that shit away, okay? Because not all of us have the opportunities to become rich and famous. It happens. But most of us, are stuck with the hard realities of life is that you're just a peon, and that's probably all you're going to be for the rest of your life, because society doesn't want you to actually accomplish anything. Because if you do, then, and it's an easy thing to do, then all of a sudden everybody's rich and powerful, and then the ones in power are no longer in power. But, that's the beginning of a whole conspiracy theory rant that could take all day, so I guess I won't get into that. But I don't know, I guess I'll boil it down to always keep an open mind, try new things, lucid dream. Like, seriously, if there was some way we could all find a way of lucid dreaming to the point where we could get into each other's dreams and participate, well, I guess that would really suck for the gaming industry, because nobody would do it anymore. Jumping into, sort of a Matrix style. I don't know. See, I'm even getting squirrely trying to make the closing statement. I don't know. Just do stuff. Do different things. Go out there. Try lucid dreaming. And it's really fucking cool. I guess that's all I got to say. Just don't let an over-fascination with other people's created realities stop you from making your own internal landscape that you like to be in. Yeah, I guess so. I'll talk more about different ways, actually, maybe of cracking open your own head and having those kinds of experiences. Yes, that's right. It's always 420 somewhere in the world. And yeah, I will get into that as well, because some are good, some are bad. Some can help you kind of open yourself up, and some can't. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're not old enough, because everybody knows what 420 is. But, maybe, and that might even tie into a whole other conspiracy theory about why that shit's illegal in a lot of places. But for some reason, really harmful drugs like alcohol and cigarettes are just fine as long as they're taxed. I don't know. I don't think I understand that. Well, But anyway, Yeah, I guess that's that. No, I'm not going to leave with much of a closing statement. It doesn't seem to be my thing. I'm just going to leave it open-ended. I'll babble some shit that made you think, and maybe you'll go have your own whatever thoughts and experiences and stuff. You know, it's a nice day. I think I'll just stare up at the sun. Think some more deep stuff. One of these days I'll get back to you.